Hi, everybody. Here we are at the Laser Performance post-race wrap-up for the 2014 APS National Collegiate Team Racing Sailing Championships. And we started today. Brian McDonald, one of the referees and judges, gave me the Team Racing Companion to really get me up. But what I realized was I don't need this thing because I got these guys. We got John and Becca and Nick, who have been updating me all weekend on team racing. I'm learning so much, guys. Thanks so much. It's amazing. It's a marathon out here. And it's just so outrageous that we're in now to the grade 8. The round of 16 is over. And I think we should spend a little bit of time talking about the teams that have gone home.
Those that we have lost.
Those that we have lost, yeah.
We must remember them.
What an epic opening round and a big battle to get into the final 8. And certainly all the teams getting better all the time. The team that came in last, almost winning that last race by inches, it seemed.
Yeah, Texas A&M, they had it. They're going to that last beat. You gave us the call, the reference on they were beating Old Dominion.
Yeah.
But didn't quite get it. So Texas A&M comes in 16th with a 0-15 record. University of Washington Huskies are 15th. They have a 1-14 record, so they did beat Texas A&M. Next up, UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, 3-12 record. We didn't see as much out of them as we were thinking. We thought maybe they would be a spoiler and use their boat speed to their advantage, but next year maybe. Those guys.
First time a lot of these guys have been to a national championship. I'm sure for them, they're just happy to be here for now and going to get better.
Yeah, Wisco next up in 12th place with a 4-11 record. I learned a fun fact about Wisco is that they drove 60,000 miles this year as a team to get to regattas. That's almost 3 laps around the earth, I believe.
Nice.
So
nice.
Incredible dedication by the Wisconsin team to just get to the top level regattas.
They have an awesome T-shirt that says, it's their Wisco T-shirt, and on the back it says, "Yes, we drove here."
Yeah.
Not afraid of the gas budget.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin.
Props to them. They're getting it. They're doing what they need to do. And Michigan, their MCSA rival, also 4-11. And Michigan we gave a lot of love to throughout, so I don't know if there's a whole lot to add, but we were really pleased with how they sailed at this regatta. And then also with a 4-11 record, but in 11th place was Old Dominion, a young Mesa team here.
Good speed, especially we saw a lot of good speed out of them, and that maybe if this was a heavy breeze regatta, we see them a little further up the scoreboard.
Breezy FJs. And then in 10th place with a 6-9 record, so jumping up a good little tick there, is University of South Florida Bulls. So the Bulls from SESA did a nice job overall and certainly pushed some good races around the course. And then in 9th place, the last team to be eliminated from the Elite 8 group, College of Charleston Cougars, which was, obviously right down to the wire. If you were watching it all today, you saw that it was between them and Georgetown to get knocked out. And, somebody was going to win and somebody was going to lose.
It was really an amazing round of 16, a lot of racing, and we got a lot in yesterday, and today the sea breeze came in. We sent Nick out on a bike ride. He went out to the far point and confirmed that the sea breeze was heading our way. What did you see out there when you went out, Nick?
I saw that I needed to get back here quickly. Sea breeze filled in really quickly, and not much some downtime. We saw a lot of people kind of throttling back for a little bit, but sea breeze came in quickly, and we were sailing by 2 p.m.
And once it came in, Becca, out there on the water, I think you really had the best vantage point. Talk a little bit. Was there a difference feeling between the round of 16 and the round of 8?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, the few races we got in this morning were fairly light and fluky. And then obviously we had the long break, and teams had a lot of time to relax, play sports, talk team racing always. And then when the breeze filled back in, we got up to maybe 6 or 7 knots, so that was definitely a different game than we saw yesterday, different game than we saw this morning. And the intensity absolutely jumped from 16 to 8. And it was interesting to see which teams were sort of picking up their intensity after the round of 8.
It was interesting to see some of the teams that really had to fight their way into the round of 8 start to step up to what we would have expected more at the beginning of the regatta. Of course, Stanford is the one that stands out to me that maybe was underperforming until the round of 8.
I think that's true. Yeah, they brought that momentum into the round of 8. They've now jumped up to a 14-6 record. So that was really strong. And during this round of 8, so far they have 4 wins and only 1 loss. Their 1 loss coming against Yale, who has been pretty much unbeatable lately. So Stanford kind of staking their claim to maybe making a charge up to a Final Four appearance.
And of course, in a lot of ways, it is a battle for 3 and 4. But another team that really sailed well, Nick, was Georgetown.
Yeah, Georgetown came in just like Stanford, a team that had to battle really hard to get into the Final 8. A team that it was the last race between Georgetown and College of Charleston to get in it. And so I think these teams that were coming into the round of 8 under fire a little bit, used to the pressure and dealing with it just slightly better compared to teams, say, like St. Mary's and Roger Williams that were comfortably in the round of 8 with probably a race or 2 to go. Maybe it's just a coincidental trend, but those teams are coming in a little bit flatter here in the round of 8 to begin with.
BC is one of those teams where, they really, I thought BC was sailing strong and having a really good round of 16. They did good in the round of 8, but, it speaks to momentum, and it speaks to once that gear shifts, can you hold on? Is BC just holding on, or was that an average day for them?
I think it remains to be seen. They're 2-2 so far in the round of 8, so 500 record coming in tomorrow. Especially if the breeze is in the morning and we just hit the water right away, it's going to be really interesting to see who is on their game and who is slipping. And we know that Yale is punched out big time. But the question is, who's going to make the Final Four below them, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? At this point, there's no way Yale could not make the Final Four. But I think any of the teams in the Elite 8, I think, can make it. Certainly the top 6 could make it in the Final Four. So, interesting stuff.
And, of course, you touched on it, Nick, Roger Williams and St. Mary's. In a lot of ways, yesterday, Roger Williams, had they just kept going with that entire round yesterday, probably would have just stayed on that roll and really did. But they were a little bit different today when they got in the round of 8. Yeah,
momentum has changed a little bit. It seemed like we were seeing more 720s and 360s. It seemed like flags seemed to be a little bit more involved with some of the Roger Williams races. So I think umpires came into play a little bit with those races, maybe a little bit a little bit anxious, and as we predicted, the intensity of all the races went up, and Roger Williams and St. Mary's, a little bit one step behind here right now, but happy to see a stoppage in play and a new day tomorrow.
New day tomorrow, of course, Championship Monday, less than the 18 hours away. And Becca, out there on the water, again, those starts and around Mark 3 and 4, like Nick said, a lot of boats spinning and a lot of aggression. Fun to see.
Yeah, well, I was going to chime in that I feel like some of the teams that we're seeing not doing so well in the Elite 8 were maybe a little over-aggressive, and I don't know if that perhaps worked better against some of the weaker teams that, they got to race in the round of 16, but certainly a lot of flags and spinning and over earlies going against Roger Williams and St. Mary's and teams like that who were very, very aggressive in the starting.
Of course, all of you guys have been here. You've been to the big dance and you coach. What are teams doing tonight? Are they strategizing? Are they just relaxing? How do they group up and get ready to come out for Championship Monday?
I think right now it's time to decompress. Like right this moment, you need to put on some music in the van and just relax. This afternoon was a whirlwind. I think Nick and I were really on the edge of our seats the entire time, trying to keep track of a couple races at every moment. And the level here is ridiculously high. The boat handling is absolutely precise. We saw mark roundings at Mark 3, as you said, where all 6 boats seem to somehow be within the 2-boat length zone, stopped, and yet still the play gets held together somehow. And so these guys, they've been performing at a high level. They should relax tonight. They should get up tomorrow like it's any other regatta, have the same breakfast they always have, same morning briefing, and just rig up the sails and go. Got to trust what you've been doing.
Yeah, when you get to this point, there seems to be a routine that all good athletes and competitors fall into. You start to trust it, and the nerves are lying to you in a lot of ways, right? Nick, in all of your team racing, has there ever been a situation that's thrown you off your game?
Oh, all the time. For sure. You got to stay in the present tense and not think about the speech you're going to give at the end of the regatta, not think about the, the nice jacket you might get. Maybe you'll get a certificate at the end of this regatta.
Right.
And you can't think about that stuff, and you just have to think of the task at hand. And yeah, it's a big case of tricking yourself.
Of course, we're glad that you've tuned in and you're following us here at Livestream for the 2014 APS National Collegiate College Team Racing Championships. There's a lot on the line, and we're blowing up, so continue to tell your friends and families to tune in tomorrow while you're sitting there at work. Don't tell your boss, but definitely tell your friends and family to tune in. And, of course, we're not going to sign off until I put these 3 on the line. Final 4 predictions. We got to have them. John, you're first.
Boy.
Oh, I'm first. Well, Yale is going to make the Final 4. I don't think they could not make it at this point with an 18-1 record. Golly. Okay, I'll go backwards on what I said yesterday. I think BC is going to make it in. I think Stanford's going to make it in. And then, spoiler alert, I think Georgetown's going to squeak in, ruining St. Mary's chances there. Ooh, boy. It's not going to be a popular one around here. Gaffney is shaking his head.
Dude, you just lost your logic.
I'm homeless.
Point that card to DC, brother. Becca, you're...
Sorry, not sorry.
What do you got for me?
Let's see. Well, Yale's obviously very impressive. They're an easy pick. I'm going to stick with St. Mary's, not just because it's a popular choice. And I'm also going to go with Stanford and Georgetown because those 2 teams were very hot today. And I think we're going to see that tomorrow.
Absolutely. And Nick, where are you going here?
This evening there will be no flip-flopping from me.
See, this is where I'm talking. Steady Eddie, right down the middle.
I've been known to be steady Eddie. We're going Yale, St. Mary's, Roger Williams, and Boston College in the Final 4.
In the Final 4.
You're asking a lot of Roger there.
Roger Williams is going to come back from the dead here?
I think so. You're going to press the reset button and cause some problems for other teams.
Right on.
Well, of course, we're going to ask you to join the entire conversation with us here. You can always check in at collegesailing.org and get on the live stream links. And, of course, you can go directly to livestream.com. And like I said, tell your friends, tell your family. Heck, tell your boss. You're going to be staying home, feet up on the couch, watching the 2014 APS National Collegiate Team Sailing Championships right here from beautiful St. Mary's, Maryland. I'm Dan Egan, and for the entire crew, thanks for watching.